We're here at Life, the Universe, and Everything for Utah Book Scene. And I'm interviewing Dave Doring to ask him a little bit about the conference. And now the thing I want to know, Dave, is when people come to this conference and then they leave, what do they get out of it? What kind of responses do you get?
Well, I think people are wanting to learn the art of creation. And that is our focus here. Our programming, presentations, panels, and workshops are all about how to take the ideas in your mind, the emotional experiences, and to create a vicarious event for the reader or the viewer. And we are obviously seeing a surge of Utah writers and creators on the national scene. And I'd like to think that the 60 plus authors we have here represent, part of that wave of learning how to do their craft professionally.
Thank you very much, Dave. Well, on to our interview. Hi, this is Susan Phelan, and I have the pleasure of interviewing David Farland today. Welcome, David. You've got over 50 books out, is that right?
Yep.
And he's been on the New York Times bestseller list. You've had quite a few honors, so we're really excited to get a chance to talk with you let the readers get to know you a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
This is your newest book, Nightingale.
Uh-huh.
You want to tell us about it?
Nightingale is a book about a young man who is abandoned at birth here in Utah. And he's raised in foster care, kicked around from home to home because he's a little bit too strange and also a little bit too talented. And he goes down to southern Utah, and when he's 16, he's kicked out of his house, goes down to go to a new school, meets a teacher who recognizes that he's not even human. She's what he calls a nightingale. He's been left to be raised by his own people among humans so that he can basically find out what they're like. And it's about him discovering who he is and, more importantly, what he is.
So now, I don't know all the fantasy things, but does that make him a changeling?
Yes, that would be the proper terminology. He's a changeling. But the idea is that, it used to be that 40,000 years ago, humans and Neanderthals lived side by side. As a kid, I used to think, wouldn't it be cool if there were Neanderthals living up in the mountains in Siberia or something like that? And so I took that idea and I said, what if there were stranger things even living among us that were also had, evolved side by side with mankind? And so that's what I started playing with. Okay.
Now this book has won a ton of awards. Do you want to tell us about some of them?
Yeah, it's won a number of awards. I only put one little sticker on it for the Hollywood Book Festival for Best Book of the Year, but I also won the International Book Award for Best Young Adult Novel of the Year. And I've won Next Gen Award for Best, as a finalist for Best Book of the Year. Won the International eBook Award and London Book Festival and New England Book Festival and several others. I can't remember them all.
So many awards you can't remember.
Yeah, but it was fun because I've won major awards with a lot of books, but I haven't won a lot of awards with any one book. So it's kind of fun to win several awards.
Cool. It makes you when you hear it from one, well that's great, but you hear it from a couple of people, it's like, oh, yeah, I really have something here. That's so exciting. And it's a young adult novel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And who's going to be interested in it? What kind of a reader?
This is, years ago, I had one of my students was a young lady named Stephanie Meyer. Okay.
Why does that name sound familiar?
Yeah, she's pretty familiar. And we were talking about what it would take to write the best-selling young adult book, of your time. And we talked about what kinds of things that she would want to do with Twilight. And I got to thinking, gosh, I want to do something like that. I've had this idea for a young adult novel kicking around. So this is kind of a young adult novel, but it's more for boys than girls. So if you are a young male, you're interested, but also girls, because I write from two viewpoints. And so I'm getting really good responses from everybody from the age of 13 on to 50, and male and female. I've had a lot of men who write to me that say things like, I couldn't stop crying in the end and things like that, and that's really great to hear.
Okay, let's have a quick plug for Runelords.
The Runelords, yes.
Okay, that's your other big series.
Yeah.
I know you've done, like we said, 50 books, so you have a lot out there.
My Runelords fantasy series is a medieval fantasy series for fans of Tolkien or something like that. And I'm finishing up the 9th book, the final book in the series right now. So the series is just about to come to an end. We have an offer of full financing for the first Runelords movie. And so
exciting.
we don't know if that's going to come about yet, but it's looking really interesting and really good. And if that happens, then that'll be great.
That'll be wonderful. That's very exciting. David, thank you so much for giving us some of your time here and talking to us about your books. I'm fascinated by Nightingale. I'm going to have to see where I can pick it up, Barnes & Noble or wherever.
It's on Barnes & Noble. It's ebooks. It's
eBooks,
also a best-selling.
Your favorite independent bookstore?
It's an enhanced novel for the Apple iPad. And it's got a nice review last week called the Ultimate Enhanced Ebook in the country. So I thought that was great.
Thank you so much. This is Susan Phelan. We were talking with David Farland for Utah Book Scene. Thanks for watching.